Hello my beautiful friends, how you doing today? It's Chris here. I know it's kind of weird to see me in the flesh. So I don't know if you guys remember last year we actually did a bunch of tadpole and toadpole videos, and I had a bunch of fun doing them, and you guys seem to enjoy them as well, so I figured why not do something kind of fun again? So this year we're going to do monarch butterflies. And this isn't just because, there's actually a reason behind this. Monarch butterflies are becoming endangered. They're not endangered yet, but there's less and less and less over the years. And there's a couple reasons why, but we'll get into that a little bit later on. So this year I'm going to be making videos about monarch butterflies. We're going to raise them from little baby caterpillars all the way up to beautiful butterflies and release them into the world. So that being said, the first step is usually somehow getting milkweed. So today I'm going to show you guys how to grow your own milkweed, and that will help you in raising your butterflies. Now this isn't the only way to get milkweed. Milkweed's fairly common in a lot of areas, and that's why these butterflies flourish pretty much everywhere. Milkweed's such a common plant. So monarch butterflies only eat milkweed. That's why it's extremely important for you to get milkweed somehow. They will not eat anything else, and this is extremely important for the butterfly. If they don't get their milkweed, they won't get the basically poisons that are grow in the milkweed, and they won't end up being poisonous, and everything will eat them. So let's show you guys how to plant these. It's actually quite simple. They're a milkweed. So I know weed is kind of that weird definition where it's just mostly something we don't like, but it grows really, really easy. So you shouldn't have any trouble growing it. So what you want to do is get some sort of seed tray or seed pots or something like that, and basically just pop some seeds in there. It's as easy as that. It's the way I like to do it. I like to keep everything consistent and neat and nice. Of course, if you want to, you can just pop random seeds in all over the place. That's fine. But I like to make little troughs, and I like to plant my seeds. Now, how deep should you plant your seeds? That's the first thing, is how deep should you plant your seeds? Usually you want to plant them, for almost any seed, you want to think about the longest edge, so the long side of the seed, and plant it 2 times as deep as that, which now I would say this is about a 1/16 of an inch seed, so we're going to plant them about 1/8 of an inch deep. That's an approximate length. It doesn't need to be perfect. So as far as soil goes, usually you want to use some sort of specially designed seed formulated soil, because it helps aerate the seeds and just keep it kind of nice. But it's not a necessity. Again, we're growing milkweed. It's going to be really easy to grow. So I just grabbed some random dirt that I had laying around the house. I popped them in there, and they're going to grow just fine in there. So once you get your soil all set up in your seed trays, usually you want to get it a little bit higher than what I have right now, but I ran out of soil, so we're just going to have to deal with it. Make sure you water it in really, really good. That's the first step. Water it in all the way. Now, you don't want to go so crazy as to have like extra water in there, but you do want to completely soak the dirt. You want it to be completely, I don't know what the best word for that would be, but you want the dirt to be as soaked as it possibly can be without having any extra water in the dirt. Once you do that, get ready to plant the seeds. So we're just going to make a little trough right here. I basically did all of that already, and then we got a little trough right here where we are going to plant our seeds. I've actually got quite a few seeds already planted in here. Again, about 1/8 of an inch, so not very deep at all, because these guys need quite a bit of warmth and kind of a lot of humidity as well. So all you want to do, just drop them in there. It's as easy as that, man. Just make your trough and just drop them in there. Doesn't matter how far you put them apart, I don't know, 1 inch or so. You want to be able to make sure when you plant them in something else, you can still keep them separated. You want them all bundled together. You want the roots all tangled up because of all the tiny little roots. If you have them too close together, you're going to break all those tiny roots, which are important for the plant to grow. If you didn't know any better, I actually did work at a garden shop for about almost 10 years actually, so I'm not completely unknowledgeable about this stuff, and I planted thousands of packets of seeds and made lots of stuff, made a lot of plants and transferred a lot of plants into a lot of different areas. So, after you get them planted in there, all you gotta do is just cover them up. It's as easy as that. Just cover them up and then pat down the soil. You want to get rid of all of the air pockets on there. And that's pretty much it for planting your milkweed seeds. It's pretty simple, and they should pop up within, a month, 2 months, depending on, the temperature and everything inside your house. So I'm doing this all the way in February. Why am I doing it in February? That seems like a really early time to do it. Yeah, but these guys aren't even going to sprout out of the ground for about a month, let alone grow big enough where I can actually feed enough caterpillars, or feed the caterpillars enough food out of these seeds. So, that all being said, once you're done doing all this, I like to try and simulate a greenhouse effect. You know, if you have some sort of plastic laying around, anything will work, but try and wrap it in plastic. And what I like to do is I just toss it in this big plastic bag right here, and then I just flip it over, and basically I just got my own homemade greenhouse right here. Woo! Look at that, it looks so fancy. So on mine, I've got a couple little holes in here. It's not really a big deal, you don't need the holes, but the plastic bag came with it, and I'm like, why not? And really what we're doing here is we're simulating a greenhouse, so it's going to stay a little bit warmer in there, especially when you got some sunlight coming in. And it's going to keep the humidity up, so you don't need to really water these guys as much. Also, it protects it from any sort of other critters that might be running around. So I know I used to plant seeds in greenhouses, and guess what live in greenhouses? Lots of mice, so they'll come in and just steal all your seeds and everything. So you probably don't have to worry about that, but just in case, you know, it's nice to have this little protective barrier. So, that's pretty much it for growing Monarch seeds. I actually got my seeds, this is not, I'm not getting paid to do this or anything like that, but I got my seeds from livemonarch.com, and they were really, really awesome. I really like pretty much everything about them. They're one of the cheapest places to get the seeds, and they gave me billions of seeds, and they even had options to, like, give me more seeds. So I thought that was really, really cool. And if you have any extra seeds, you know what you can do? Just go outside, just throw them all over the place, because we need more milkweed. If you have any questions or anything, throw them down in the comments down there. I promise we'll have a bunch more butterfly videos in the future, and hopefully we'll find some caterpillars pretty soon. Thanks for watching, and have a super duper delicious day.